let's consider this. The mind creates the abyss, and the heart crosses it. The mind creates the abyss, and the heart crosses it. Have you ever come to the edge of the abyss in your life, only to doubt your ability to take the next step forward? What did you do when you were faced with your fear? Did you take a step into the unknown, or did you forget everything and run? Belief is the magic that carries us across the abyss. Belief in ourselves, belief in our abilities, belief in our capabilities. One of the most important things that I strive to teach my children is to always remember to believe in themselves. That's why whenever they make a craft for me, they add the word believe to it. As I reflect back on my life and my successes and my so-called failures, I can clearly see the relationship between my ability to believe in myself and my ability to have the desired outcome. One of the most memorable ways that showed up in my life was in my gymnastics career. I left home at 17 to pursue my dream of qualifying for the Canadian national team. My facility that I was currently training at was too small, so I had to move to a larger city and a larger center. In 1996, I achieved my dream and I qualified for the Canadian national team. I was ranked 2nd in Canada and 6th in the world within my sport. I was one of 2 women selected to move on to do the World Cup circuit the following year. And the World Cup circuit was a series of competitions in Germany, Poland, France, USA, and Canada. And in order for me to place higher in these competitions, I needed to add difficulty to my routine. And as I attempted to add difficulty to my routines, I started to fall in practice. And I think that falling is not really representative of what it looks like. When you are running full speed, fully committed to something you can't do, crashing is a much better word for it. And I don't care if we're talking gymnastics or life, when you fall after making a full commitment, it hurts. And it becomes scary to try again. And when the fear crept in and my belief in self faded, I lost skills that I had been doing for a decade. As a level 10 athlete with over 11,000 hours of training, I could not do a level 3 routine. I traveled to Germany, Poland, and France, and I sat. And it was humbling and it was awful, and I could not do it. So when I returned to Canada, I looked to my coach for guidance. And what he told me was to come back and keep practicing. And I kept making the same mistake in practice. So eventually I ended up taking a break. And I was faced with the abyss. I was almost finished my career in gymnastics. I had less than 6 months left. And it was either find a way to cross the abyss or to forget it and quit then. So I thought within myself, and I had to get really still and decide if I was willing to commit to crossing the abyss. And somewhere deep inside, the answer came yes. And when I made that decision that yes, I was willing to recommit, it was almost as if the next step rose up under my foot. And the more times I said yes to what I wanted and no to the fear, the next step, and the next step also appeared. One day, a complete stranger handed me a cassette with it. It was Dennis Waitley. And the whole message on the tape was clear and simple. It was, if you think you can, you can. And I listened to that cassette 100 times because it gave me hope. But hope and wishful thinking and positive mantras will not carry you over the abyss in your life. Because in order to get over the abyss within our lives, we need to connect to our hearts. Because within our hearts, we are able to connect to the experience of what we are desiring. And without that connection to feeling, we cannot move forward. So in gymnastics, yes, I had to be able to visualize the skill in my head. I had to know how to do it. But I also had to be able to connect to the feeling of being able to experience it doing it. And when I could do that in my mind first and feel it in my body, then I showed up at the gym again. And then I hired a new coach. And I started over as a level 3 athlete. And it took me 4 months to rebuild. But in the end, I finished the final leg of the World Cup circuit. I threw the most difficult pass I had ever attempted. And I retired from gymnastics on that day with my head held high and a passion and a love for motivational speaking. Now, the abyss appears in each of our lives. For us, for all of us, it looks different. For some of us, it is getting married. Some of us, it is getting divorced. Some of us, it is asking our boss for a raise, asking for a promotion, asking for a demotion. The only thing standing between you and what you truly desire is your own fear. One of my favorite quotes is by Ralph Emerson, and he says, "What lies in front of us and what lies behind us are tiny matters compared to what lie within us. And what lies within us is within our control. 95% of the beliefs we hold are untrue, but nobody can change your beliefs except for you. It's a total inside job." Beliefs are like tree roots. They are essential to your growth and your development. They will uphold you in the seasons and the storms of life. And if you want your tree to bear fruit, you need a healthy root system. So whether you connect with the idea of belief as the magical force that carries you over the abyss, or the deep roots of a tall tree, understand that they are essential to your success in life. Cultivate them, select them carefully, examine them, and always remember to believe in yourself. The heart, the mind creates the abyss, and the heart crosses it. Thank you.